Okay, hello friends. My name is Holly Dinnany, and I am with Family Partners of Morris and Sussex County. And today we are doing our weekly Lunch and Learn program. That the idea behind our program is to have lunch with an expert. So if you are keeping your camera off, we're a-okay with that. Maybe you're sipping on some soup or eating a sandwich. If you'd like to keep your camera on so that we can see your smiling face, we're happy with that too. And our format, typically we bring in an expert from an organization, an expert on a certain condition or a challenge. But today is going to be a little bit different. And I have to tell you, I'm very excited because we are going to talk about many of the supports that are available to us that we may not first consider when we're having a challenge. So, Chris, I think if we can start the screen share, that would be awesome. I'm going to remind you, this is a conversation. If you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. If we ask for your feedback on something, please feel free to give that. And I'm going to start with the basics, which may be basic, but everybody knows Family Partners of Morris and Sussex County. We are an organization that is really geared to support when families have a youth that's challenged. Krista, I think you can go on to the next slide if you don't mind. When you have a youth that's challenged, we are very, very blessed in the state of New Jersey that there is a system, a wraparound system of care, that the wraparound approach, they come to the table to support the youth with the challenge and also to bring experts to the table to support the youth. And our sister organization is called Caring Partners. They are a care management organization. Family support organization, which is who we are. We are one of 15 in the state. And when we come to the table, we are there to support the parents or the caregivers of the youth. And up on the screen, you see all the different challenges and more that youth might be facing, be it mental health, developmental, intellectual, substance use, what have you. But we come to the table, pop it to the next slide, Krista. We come to the table to support the parents. And for any of you who are parents or any of you who work with parents, understand that oftentimes when there's a challenge, the parents might be overwhelmed, exhausted, frustrated, um, really challenged and not thinking in their best mind as to what can best be done to support the youth and also how it's affecting other people in the family. So we are there to provide peer support to the parents. Next slide, Krista. I think I've covered this information. Why don't you pop to the next one? It's interesting because a family support organization provides educational programs, just like the one we're on now, right? Lunch and Learn on important topics. We provide support groups for families, for teens, and for adults. And we also provide warm line services, which if someone has a question, maybe you need help and you're not sure who to ask, we have a warm line that someone can call. And if it's not us, we will do our best to connect you to the person who can help you. Next slide, please. So, looking at this picture, this is refers to one of my favorite quotes that I think sums up where we are in today's pandemic world, which is that we are all in the same storm, but that we're in very different boats. Some of us are in really well-equipped yachts with every accessory and fully stocked food and perhaps servants that can help us. And some of us are in little rowboats that don't even have an oar, right? We're all in the same storm. And to me, honestly, that storm can be the pandemic, but it can also be parenthood. It can be growing up. It could be many, many things. I think that this image relates to. Next slide, please. But the interesting fact, and this has been documented, is that the one thing we all have in common, regardless of what our challenge is that it can lead to a very difficult state of isolation. And if you want to pop off your mute and share with me or drop in the chat, what happens when we feel isolated? If someone's isolated, if you feel shame, if perhaps you can't talk to, maybe your mother has been a wonderful source all throughout your life and your parenting, and suddenly your youth is doing something you're not sure your mother would understand, or maybe you're not sure that your mother would know how to help you. Like isolation, depression, someone just shared in the chat. Thank you. Depression can happen, paralysis, right? Fatigue, anxiety someone shared. We are not thinking in our best mind when we are feeling alone or left behind, or a speaker I recently heard share with our caregivers, our mom squad on Thursday, was talking about how, yes, you're missing out on things that other people are doing. Or maybe you're feeling sorry for your child because you're not sure they have any friends. Or maybe you don't have any friends because who can you talk to about what's going on in your house? So isolation, it's interesting that isolation has been studied, and it has many health consequences. It's not just in your mind. Somebody says sleeping more. Sometimes we're sleeping less, right? Health consequences include depression, poor sleep quality, impaired executive function, accelerated cognitive decline, poor cardiovascular function, and impaired immunity at every stage of life. So think about that. It's not just how you're feeling, woe is me. This is something that's physically having an effect on your ability, mental and physical. So, next slide, please, Krista. The great news is, and I'm sorry, Kay, did you have something you wanted to share?
I I just thought that that was interesting because I work at a hospital, and the floor that I'm on is actually the COVID unit. And so ever since this outbreak of COVID happened and things shut down, I haven't seen my family in person in over a year. And that's partly due to, I don't want to get them sick. Nobody's really been vaccinated. They're like last on the list because they're not in the medical field. And I've been vaccinated, but I'm still a danger to them. So I've been alone for the most part over a year. And you're saying all of these things. And I'm like, yeah, I am sleeping a lot more. Like I try to stay busy with school and work, but I feel left behind. I feel alone. And yes,
Mm,
they FaceTime and call me, but it's not the same at
mm.
all.
Wow. Kay, first of all, thank you for your bravery and your honesty and sharing that. I got goosebumps because I think sometimes what happens also, and you're getting some love in the chat too, Kay, by the way. What sometimes happens is we're not even aware that that's how we're feeling, right? Because it's just we're so in the thick of it that we're not even realizing what's happening. So this is where we thought today it was an important topic to talk about peer support, because peer support is an option it's out there, folks. I'm telling you right now, through our organization and through many other organizations, peer support is evidence-based, okay? It's been studied. It improves the quality of life. It increases and improves engagement with services, meaning you're able to take advantage of services that are available. And it increases whole health and self-management. And I'm like, ooh, self-management. Think about the many dimensions of that, right? You can't care for others around you if you are not caring for yourself. And it's often not a choice, right? Sometimes, as Kay was saying, she was going through something she wasn't even aware that she was going through. And awareness is the first step, right? So peer support, I have had direct experience with as a participant and a facilitator for over 20 years, and it really magic happens in these support groups. And this is what it used to look like. Next slide, Krista.
Holly, in terms of the peer support, that's one of the things that, and self-care both, that I love most about the hero huddle for dads, because we're just there to listen to each other, to support each other, and once in a while to give each other some encouragement on ways to help each other get through whatever is going on in our life that day.
Wow. Paul, thank you for sharing. Paul participates, and we have one of our support groups is held on Wednesday nights, and it's for dads. And it's interesting that sometimes people think, not all of us are eager to join a support group. Not all of us are eager to talk about what's bothering us. But let me tell you, the minute I think we feel in a safe, protected environment, I think a switch flips for most people, not all people. And it's okay if it doesn't. And that's what we also plan to talk about today, are some opportunities where you don't have to be seen visually on a Zoom to talk. That we have some other programs that have ways that you can type in certain hours of the evening about things that are bothering you. But Paul, thank you so much for sharing that. And I think Paul is a member, an active member of our Hero Huddle. But the interesting thing, I think, and Paul, you can chime in if you like, is it doesn't matter how many parenting courses, how much training you've had, how much on your feet you are in many areas of your life. I think there's always something to be learned and gained by sharing with other people. Would you agree with me, Paul?
Absolutely. I mean, as you know, because our boys came to us through the foster system, we have access to a lot of different resources, and we've had 2 or 3 different parenting classes. We never had kids until the teenagers that came to us in foster joined our family, so we had no clue what we were doing in the way of parenting. But we had 2 or 3 parenting classes. We've had a host of psychotherapeutic resources, behavioral resources, all kinds of stuff that have been thrown at us. But every week on that call, one of us, my husband or I, learn something or take something away from the conversation that we have with all these other guys. And it's just great to be with other guys and share stuff that you wouldn't share with your wife or female friends. It's a guy thing, and it's great.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. I appreciate you sharing that with us. Julie, I know you participate in our Mom Squad. Do you have anything that you would like to share about how that's helped you or what that's meant to you?
I'm Julie Rycon, and I work for the Association for Special Children and Families in Passaic County. And what started off as, just a curiosity was through our federal grant, we cover this through special education, families that live in Newton and in Vernon. And it was just to start off. I've known a lot of the people from Family Partners for a number of years. Hi, Margarita. And I love Mom Squad. The support, the outpouring of love, the sharing, the caring has changed me. It's transformed me in ways that I never thought I would be able to be transformed, because I had facilitated support groups, but I've learned so much. I've been able to share with families. I've also been able to offer special education guidance for families that are in Sussex and Morris County through Mom Squad. And I look forward to Thursday nights and forward to hearing the laughter and the tears and the support of all these wonderful parents who we're all struggling. So, and I will continue to go for as long as I can. So,
well, that's thank you for sharing, Julie. And it sounds like, you talk about the isolation. It sounds like Julie's tackling that head on as far as finding folks with like challenges, right? Judith, I see we have Judith Hasso with us on the call, and I think Judith participates in, we have a support group for parents that meets on Tuesdays for our Spanish speaking families. Judith, would you like to share anything with us about your experience?
Yes. Hi, my name is Judith Jasso, and I'm part of the group of Mutual Heart of Family Partners. And yeah, it's been helping me a lot. I'm being part of the family partners support groups, different groups, for 5 years. And it's been helping me to more communicate in English and Spanish with my family, because my kids, they speak English and they rarely speak Spanish, but my husband doesn't speak English. So, I'm in the middle. So I have to go with the information to one side to the other. And so it's been helping me a lot. They actually helping me to get to those topics that is very difficult for my family to even talk about, like sexuality, abuse of any substances, and there's too many topics that it was really hard to talk about in the house, and it is a very nice experience, for the entire family to be able to have a group that actually understands, the necessary things that different families need, because they actually take the time to get the families and also to connect with another family that have the same situations or similar situations, and then we connect with other families, we share information, we exchange different, resources, and it's been like really helpful. I'm very,
Mm.
very glad to be part of this group, and I'm very glad to be here today to share with you.
Judith, thank you so much for taking the time out to be with us today. And Judith said so many wonderful things. I mean, I think when we think about the resources that are available to us, and there are many, right?
Yeah.
There are a lot of experts, but there are also many things that when you are a part of a group and you hear about from somebody else, a resource that they've used, something that's been helpful, the more we hear, the more we learn, the more empowered we are. And the beautiful thing is, and I would suspect that everybody on this call can relate to this, if you've had somebody help you once in a significant way, you can't wait to turn and help another. And I think that what we need to realize, and I see lots of nodding heads, and that excites me. What we need to realize is that when we do that, it's making us stronger, right? It is reinforcing
Yeah.
what we know how to do and what we feel in our hearts. So Judith, thank you so much for sharing that. And I want to introduce you. I'm excited. You only see me chatting here every week. I'm excited to introduce you to the fabulous team that we have at Family Partners. Our illustrious executive director, Rachel Helt, always says we're small, but we're mighty. And I think she's right. So I am going to go through our lineup of team members in order of how our support groups work. So on Tuesday night, Miss Margarita Acosta, could you, in your gold, Margarita and I coordinated our outfits today. I would like to introduce Margarita. She is our, why don't you say what you do for family partners, and then talk about your group, Margarita, if you don't mind, just so they have an understanding of, we have a small team, but we all have different things that we focus on. So go ahead, Margarita. Thank you.
Thank you, Holly. Hello, everybody. I'm so happy to be here and see a lot of people that I didn't see for a long time. So I have been with Family Partner for 8 years, and I doing different things. I started as a family partner, peer partner, and right now I'm a family partner coordinator. And we have every Tuesday a beautiful group that we create when we started the pandemic. The basic of the group is Nurture Heart. I'm a certified advanced training. And when the pandemic started, we was thinking how we can get together and be very lovely and be very close in a different way, because now everything is here. So by the technology, which is somewhat cold, so we started a support group and Nurture Heart in a different way. It's not like a regular class, it's more like get together, talk about what it is, Nurture Heart, and connect with our real life and a basic life. And it has been beautiful. We have a lot of mothers coming up. Actually, we have a dad coming as well. And it's beautiful to see how we all together are growing. We are growing together and we are learning together. And Judy, thank you for being here. And I love the way that you express how you're feeling, because personally see her for the first time 5 years ago. And now I'm seeing her flourish and talking in the front of the people and feeling confident. And that's beautiful. And I think that is part of the being connected. When you are with people around, when you have the opportunity to talk and feel that you have people with you, help you to feel more confident and flourish. And that's the exactly thing that I am seeing right now. And Judy, she's flourishing. So thank you everybody for being here. And I love the thing that I do. And I'm very convenience that it is the good thing for us.
You're very convinced. And I will tell you one thing too.
Thank you.
We knew what you meant, Margarita, and I'm very excited. I'll say that there might be a scoop coming soon about Margarita leading some Nurtured Heart classes, because that's an important distinction between support groups and classes, is that while you are absolutely learning in support groups, we will offer classes that are separate, that are consistent in the information that we give. But for a support group, you can come whenever it suits you to come. And when you're not there, we miss you, but it's okay. So that's a very big difference. But Margarita is an advanced trainer in Nurtured Heart, and that is something that you can look for more information to follow as far as classes it will offer. Next up, I want to introduce my teammate and buddy, Michael Giffoni, who is the facilitator for the Dads group. Michael, could you say hello to everybody? You're muted. We'd probably hear you better. There you go. Hi, Michael.
Guys, how you guys doing today?
We're great, Michael. Thanks for being with us.
Absolutely.
Michael, what's your favorite thing about the Hero Huddle?
Just like the support that everyone has for each other there. I mean, it's just like amazing the way everyone's there for each other, and it's a very insightful group where, you know, everyone has something to share that's very valuable to the group. And I just think it's a really, really good, supportive, enlightened group that has a lot of good information to share with each other. And I'm really proud of the group. You know, it's
Yeah.
a great bunch of guys.
That's great,
And we
Michael.
have fun.
And
We
you
do
have fun.
Thank you, Paul. Absolutely.
I wanted to add in, I was a privilege of helping the group get started for the technical background, but they've not kicked me out yet. So I'm the token female. But I have to tell you that, and I'm sure Margarita and Diane may have the same experience. We talk big picture stuff, but in a recent meeting, everybody helped someone write a text back to somebody who they were very stressed about the exchange.
Mhm.
And it was real. It's a beautiful thing when you've got folks who understand where you're coming from, but more importantly, they know where you want to go. And we were putting some Nurtured Heart in that, baby. We were rubbing that in there because, you know, we were learning and growing together. And you can't, Margarita and Diane, I'm sure will say the same thing, and Krista too. You can have an agenda of what you might talk about in a support group that evening. But if someone comes in and their heart's hurting, that's where we go. That's where we go. So, Michael, thank you for saying hello, Paul. I always appreciate your 2 cents. And next, I'd like to introduce Diane Varga, who is the facilitator for our Mom Squad. And the other thing too, I wanted to say, if you attend a group and you attend once or twice, we have a running list of people who've ever attended. So we always send you information if there is something special happening. Once you're in the loop, you're in the loop. I mean, we tell everybody about the group meetings, but just keep that in mind. Diane, I'm not going to steal any thunder. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your group?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Holly. I facilitate the Mom Squad. We meet on Thursday evenings from 6 to 7 on Zoom. And I have to tell you, I am honored to facilitate this group. Gets me emotional. I have a wonderful group of women in this group. They support each other. They are there for each other. We actually have a mom in our group who's just been diagnosed with cancer. And this group stepped up. Can we start a meal train for you? Where do you live? How can we help you? So, I mean, we welcome anyone into this group. You don't have to be a mom, caregiver, grandmother, foster parent. Anyone is welcome into our group. We offer the opportunity to come in. We have some moms that are a little anxious about it. So we offer that opportunity. Come in, stay off mic, stay off camera, see if it's a good feel for you, and then come back and visit us. We also, in our group, open up, we have a speaker that comes in once a month. And the speaker comes in depending on what the members of the group want. We don't have a speaker come in just because it seems like a good topic. It's actually what the people in the group want. We just had someone come in and talk about caregiver self-care, which was very important. I believe we're having somebody come in April and talk about trauma and how parents can navigate a child who's been through trauma. The group is available for everyone. It's not just available for people who receive our services. So, you know, we've had people join us from California. So the group is open for everyone. Another source of support is we have a Mom Squad private Facebook page, which is another area of support for the moms during the week. They can touch base with each other. We put up information about things that are upcoming or important information. So, again, it's open to anyone that would like to join. I invite people to come because it's a very warm and inviting group of women that are participating in that group.
That's great. And the other thing that I know Diane really excels at, which is important, is if she's hearing people struggle with something, if there's a topic, if there's an issue that we need to provide clarification on or contact with an expert, Diane and actually our whole team, when we have our team meetings every week, we say, what's going on? What is it that we need to bring to the forefront as far as information? And I really think you need to remember that we're listening. We really are listening, and we want these programs to serve what you need. So I don't know, Krista, are you able to pop up the Mom Squad Facebook group? Because another thing we're trying to explore, and Diane, I didn't mean to stomp on you. Did you get out everything mostly that you wanted to get out?
Yes, I did.
Our idea with a Facebook group is that people who want to continue a conversation, because I don't know if you know this or not, but sometimes trauma happens different times than when you're meeting on Thursday nights. Maybe something happens over the weekend, maybe something happens early in the day. And we want to be able to have an opportunity. That's our Facebook page that you're saying. And then you would go to our Facebook page and then go under groups, correct, Krista? She's working on it. I can see this is poetry in motion here. But the idea is that people can come on and share, whether there is a challenge, whether there's a funny quote that you saw, an inspirational video. We're recording this program today, which we'll be sharing afterwards, but we can also post that. So Diane does a really nice job of doing inspirational quotes. There you have a promotion for today's event. But what our goal is, to maybe there's someone who needs support who can't make it Thursday nights. Now they can go onto our Facebook and maybe throw out a question, throw out a comment, and the conversation can continue. We are trying to introduce this for the dads group. Paul, I don't know if you're still on the call. Nobody's picking up what I'm putting down. I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not, but we're also considering with Margarita's group, her population tends to rely on WhatsApp. So there's our dad's page, which it's just me so far. So there you go. I'm the lonely Julie McCoy of the Dad's Hero Huddle page.
And we love our Julie McCoy, but yeah, you're right. We're just haven't gotten into using that page yet.
And you know what? That's fine, because again, we are trying to do things that meet the needs of our families, not the things that we think are great. So I'm going to stop yapping and ask Krista Catano, my technician extraordinaire today, to share with us about youth partnership, what's happening with that. And I know she has some other things she'd like to share the screen on. So Krista, if you would say hello to everybody, that would be great. Krista Catano is our youth coach. She also does community outreach, and she is the instructor for our amazing Straight from the Heart art program. So take it away, Krista.
Holly, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I want to let everybody know that we have in the support group in Spanish a chat in WhatsApp.
Oh, fabulous. There we go. Thank you, Margarita. And this will be a nice introduction to what Krista's doing, and that we're trying to reach the people where they are. Like the Mom Squad was primed and ready to go with Facebook. Margarita's group is using WhatsApp. Krista, anytime that you want to jump in, but I know Krista and her partner in crime, Natalia, came up with a neat platform that young people are open to. So you want to take it away, Krista?
Sure. So just real quick, a little bit about youth partnership. We call it YP. It is open to youth, all youth ages 13 to 21. We are actually allowing some 12-year-olds in now. So that's exciting. And we meet Friday nights, 7 to 8 p.m. Once upon a time, they used to meet in person. Right now we're meeting on Zoom, which is, a little bit of everyone's zoomed out. I get that, but we really try and make it a fun hour out of the week that they can look forward to. Most of them I've noticed have looked forward to. And in general, we like to inspire hope, help, and happiness. Those are like 3 H's. And it's a great way to meet peers, make new friends. Like Holly was mentioning, there's so much isolation going on right now that this is a way to safely interact. And a lot of the kids, might be more shy and don't want to go out and meet new friends. So like this is a safe zone to do that. We like to mix it up and we split up the month. We try to do like a game night that's just like totally fun. We do some educational stuff. Sometimes we have guest speakers. We've had someone talk about gaming. We've had someone talk about healthy relationships. And then we've also done educational like games, like we just did a self-care bingo that was really, really a lot of fun. We try to highlight a different awareness each month. So, if it's, stress and anxiety awareness month or whatever it is, we try to, or nutrition was just that. So we try to highlight those. And then we also do community service, something that's been a little difficult to do right now, but back in November, we were able to do a volunteer day, and we're looking to plan one for April for Earth Day as well. So building that community sense and letting the kids speak up and advocate for, what they'd like to contribute. So they help plan those days. So then, as Holly was mentioning, we just recently started a Discord group, which is something that all the kids are doing these days. I had to Google it to be completely honest. I am a millennial, but still needed to Google it. So basically it is a way to do a group chat. So these youth aren't on Facebook. They're not on, maybe some of them are on Instagram and Twitter, but we do a group chat on Discord, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. But really what it is, it's a fun, safe way for these youth to connect online in a controlled group. So we only allow our group in. It's a closed group. So a lot of kids who are gaming online, it's gaming with complete strangers, and it's not always the safest environment. So that's why I really like to highlight with the parents that it's a closed group and we have a lot of safety precautions set in. And let me try and...
Yeah, I think I asked Krista to share her screen because when she gave me a little brief introduction like this, I just think it helps us to understand what it looks like and why it might be appealing to if a youth or Baby Yoda, how can you go wrong, right? Baby Yoda is a big hit. Go ahead, Krista.
This is the basic layout of Discord. Basically, like we have our own server, so like youth partnership. And this is what you see when you come in. We've got welcome rules, and there's these little bots that we can pre-program. So you have to accept this when you come in that you're going to follow the rules. And then basically we have little bots that filter anything that might be like bad language or whatever. And say you accidentally type something that's not the best, it'll send you a reminder like, oh, we don't use that language here or whatever. And then, you might get a warning and or asked to leave the group. And then basically we have different like chat rooms, if you will. So like we have an announcement section, and this is where I put each week what we're doing. So we've done movie nights. This week we're doing a virtual scavenger hunt that I think is going to be a lot of fun. So this is where I can put that announcement, and then they can respond here and like it or send a little emoji or whatever. And then we have our general chat where they talk about their, games and memes and whatever. This is just our general chat. And we have all these other fun ones where you can post your pet pictures, where we can talk about music. You can also listen to music in the app. So you can like broadcast it. So anyone who's logged in can listen to the same thing. So that's a kind of fun thing. We talk about gaming, we can talk about art, we can talk about sports. We've got a bunch of kids who like cars and build cars. They talk there about that. So just in general, it is a fun space for the kids
Thank you.
to hang out.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Krista. And I'm watching the time. I know we've got another speaker who has to cut out. But Krista, can I go to Johan and come back to you and talk about the Straight from the Heart program? Is that okay?
Yeah, we can do that at the end. That's fine.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much, Krista. And if you can, if you have questions for Krista, we will absolutely have time. But I wanted to, Johan is with us from SPAN Youth Hub, and I'm so excited that he joined us today because I'm looking. Johan, are you still there? Up?
Yes, I am still
Oh, good.
here.
Oh, I know you've got another meeting you're trying to make.
No
But
worries.
I came across Johan. I'll let you explain what you do. But the wonderful thing about the world that we're in of support services is we are not competitive with one another. We are. If someone can't make our group, I'm happy to recommend another group. And Johan, you have some really interesting things going on that your organization offers. Do you mind telling us a little bit about that?
Yes, thank you, Holly, for having me on. And of course, I'm always interested in sharing out the exciting events and programs we have here at SPAN. So I am the youth coordinator at SPAN Parent Advocacy Network, the family organization for the state of New Jersey. And what we do is we make sure with our youth is we started to create different ways to reach them where they're already at. So one of the interesting ways that we did that is we started creating a weekly youth chat. Holly, do you want me to share my screen on that
Yeah,
flyer, or do you
if
have
you're
it with
able,
you?
no,
Okay,
you can share your screen. Sure.
sure, absolutely. So let me go ahead and pull that up, and not to take too much time away.
No, that's great.
Okay. And I'll make sure to, and I know Holly said you were going to do a follow-up with the flyer,
Yeah,
but if you want, I can include in the chat too for you.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, folks, like I said, we're going to share the recording, and we're also going to make up a document that will be attached and available with the recording on our YouTube channel as well, with different websites and resources that are available. Are you able to share?
Yes.
Okay,
Let me go
good.
ahead and pull it up now. All right. Okay. So if you can see it, if not, I know Holly will, just as she's told me, she'll follow up with you and provide the graphics. But every week we have the SPAN Youth Chat for ages 13 and up. And what it is that it's a weekly 30-minute chat on Wednesdays from 3 to 3:30 p.m. They are youth driven and youth run. I am fortunate enough to say that we are joined with our adult allies on this chat, and as well as a youth facilitator such as myself. So the youth are in a safe space. They are always monitored by an adult ally who stays in the background. Usually their cameras are off and muted, and they come in if they need to make sure that everyone is having an organic conversation. But each session will begin with information sharing. We'll have a resource and a topic of the week, and we'll have an activity to do as well. So it doesn't seem like it's an extension of school, but someplace that they can have a good conversation. So that is one. And of course, you do have to register. So we do have the link here in Eventbrite to register. And then after that, you're on our emails for any updates and information that we send out to youth. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing on this one. And Holly, if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and share on the blog as well.
Go right ahead.
All right, thank you again. And these mostly they were inspired from the pandemic because of COVID-19. We do understand that youth have not had the chance to create relationships, especially in a virtual setting, and even in an in-person setting, they're not doing the after-school activities that we were all once used to. So we know if they are Zoom fatigued for being on the computer for too long, we were inspired to also create the SPAN Youth Hub, which is a blog for youth, young adult, and youth advocates, where we share the resources and the topics and the conversations we have in our weekly SPAN Youth Chats. And we have it on an online format for if you know what a blog is, but if not, a blog is an online forum where you just post, and if you subscribe, they get a post every week. So it's like a little article, but tailored for youth. We have one every Thursday, which is the day after our Wednesday chats. And we encourage everyone and anyone to subscribe. Although we say it's for youth and young adults, it really is a resource spot where even adults, such as everyone on this call, can go ahead and subscribe and get information for their sons, daughters, nieces, nephews, grandsons, granddaughters, you name it. but it's there for you to share and subscribe. And I'll stop here. And once again, I just want to thank you, Holly. I will put the flyers in the chat and just let everyone know we really create these two programs for youth, by youth, and for all the youth to join. So thank you again for your time. And I'll put my email in the chat for any questions.
That's awesome. Thank you, Johan. We'll include your information on the follow-up, your contact information as well. Thank you very much. Those are some really cool programs that I'm excited to see. And again, timing is everything too. Like we do our youth partnership on Friday nights. We've played around Krista's program. She'll tell you about shortly is and our program she does on Tuesdays. So we're kind of playing around with some things. As you know, we're just trying to figure it out. But what I'd like to move to next, if I could, is Doreen. I see you're on the call, right? Doreen Finley from who's with Parents Anonymous. I'm looking for you, Doreen. I saw you on the.
I'm here, Holly.
Oh, I'm looking right at you. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. And again, folks, what happens, just, a little bit of the behind the scene magic at Family Partners is somebody said to me, what's another resource that we can offer parents who can't make my support group? What can I offer to them? And when you do a little digging, you can find some of these things. And I tripped onto Parents Anonymous / Parents Inc. And I really was excited to talk with the folks there and hear about what you do. So if you could share with us, because you have some unusual platforms, like I think you have there's something that you can text in at certain times, or what? Tell us about it, Doreen. And I promise I'm going to have the particulars that I'll share with you folks after the meeting. But go ahead, Doreen. Tell us about your organization.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Doreen Finley. I'm the the assistant director at Parents Anonymous / Parents Inc. We kind of took the anonymous out because folks felt that it was a 12-step program or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So we shifted over to Parents Inc. to make everyone comfortable and feel good. We have a variety of different support groups. We have online Zoom groups. We have groups on Facebook. We have father time groups. We have groups in the jails in New Jersey. We have support groups that, deal with churches in their community, anywhere parents are. And we just formed a new group called Kids Corner. We found out a lot of kids were facing things that we were talking about, isolation, depression. So this is a platform for them to talk about the things that they need. We also have a chat group. So if you don't want to identify yourself, you can just chat in the information, and you'll go back and forth with the facilitator. Some people during this Zoom pandemic, they don't want to show their face. And you know what? That's fine. The issue is to give you the support that you need, to give you the information that you need, and to use confidentiality. We also have groups in FSOs. So we also have a group right at Northwest Cap. We have a group. I see a lot of our partners on today, which is great that they're giving out all the support. And I would just like to share that the Spanish groups, if you connect with me, we have some excellent Spanish information that we are willing to share, because it's all about sharing and caring for those families in the state of New Jersey. That's some of the ways you can contact us. We also have a 1-800-THE-KIDS. If you just want to vent, we're finding out that parents sometimes they just want to vent. So we have trained listeners who will listen to parents vent. So we have that 1-800-THE-KIDS, and I'm going to leave my contact information in the chat so you can please call me and we can join forces. In numbers, we're stronger. We have that father time program. We have things to share in English and Spanish for the fathers. We're here to provide this information that our state needs. All parents need it, children need it, professionals need it. Let's not forget the professionals, like our dear friend who works in the hospital. I mean, she wants to jump on and chat and listen up. Please feel free to. We're here at Parents Anonymous, and we're all evidence-based. We make sure that everything is evidence-based, so it's according to our principles and our standards, and we keep confidentiality on top of all of our support groups. Thank you.
Mm,
I know we're
Great.
time driven, so I'm just going to hit the button and put my information in the chat, and I would love to connect with some of you.
That's great. Doreen, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today and for all the great work that you do. Again, there's just so many different reasons that someone might be wanting to come in for information in a different, from a different angle. So speaking of that, our next up on our folks I want to introduce you to, it's just like a full lunch, isn't it? It's wonderful, is Jerry Doherty, who is with National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI. She's also on the board of the Family Partners Organization. She's a very busy person with a lot of things going on, but Jerry, I have to tell you, I was in a webinar recently that was really well attended, well done webinar with FSOs in the state talking about youth and law enforcement, how to bridge the gap in communication. It was a wonderful program, four-part series. But there was a young woman who came on and shared quite articulately about some of her mental health challenges and how instrumental NAMI was in helping her family support her and in just understanding a lot about her situation and resources that were available. And I was a little stunned to hear that there was somebody on the call, a police officer who was clearly very educated, bright individual, who said, "I'm sorry, what's NAMI?" And I thought to myself, this is like a resource that everybody should know about. So I'm so grateful that you're here today to just tell us a little bit about NAMI, and although support groups is only a part of what you do, but please, I'll stop yapping. Tell us about NAMI.
So hi, everyone. Thank you for inviting me. NAMI is nationwide, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And then the structure of NAMI is that every state has an office. And then the real work of NAMI is done at the local level, usually by county. Some counties are combined in New Jersey. So the locals are called affiliates of NAMI. So we have Nami Sussex, and I've been on the board of Nami Sussex for the past 12 years, I'd say. I'm a teacher of some courses that NAMI offers and a support group facilitator. Now, our little Nami Sussex, for actual worker bees, we're very small. We're all volunteer. There's no funding. There's no funding stream for NAMI. There are donations. But we are not technologically as up to speed as most other organizations that have been speaking today. But we've been struggling to get some of our offerings available on Zoom. So we have one family support group that meets once a month on first Tuesday of the month, 7 to 9 p.m. Now it could be open to parents of children under 18. But I will be honest and say that I tend to refer people of children and teens under 18 to FSO, to Family Partners, because I think your groups are much more connected to the younger families. Our groups often have people who've been dealing with the serious mental illness of their loved one for 10, 20, 30 years. So you are I handle the helpline, so-called calls for NAMI Sussex, and you're one of my chief referrals. But we do have that one during the pandemic. We have that one once a month, third Tuesday family support group. It's open to parents of children or teens with a mental health condition, but I think you'd do better being at the Mom Squad or the Hero Huddle, frankly, than at our group. Then NAMI has a course that's particularly great for parents of children and teens. It's called Nami Basics. And in past years, we always partnered with Family Partners to offer it. It's a 6-session course, very intense, very educational, especially about mental health conditions, a little bit about autism, not enough about autism, and nothing about developmental disabilities, really. It's not that parents couldn't take the course if their loved one had only had developmental disabilities, but I don't think they'd get that much out of it. It's geared mainly to mental health conditions and behavioral issues, which could include kids on the autism spectrum. So Nami Basics, but the pandemic came along and we can't offer it live. Nami National, however, can offer it online. So that's what we refer people now who are interested in that kind of course that's going to be highly informative about children and teens with mental health conditions. It's not as good as when we offered it live, because live you were networking with other parents from your community, sharing resources in the community. The online version, it's called Nami Basics on Demand. You take it on your own schedule, online. So until the pandemic is defeated, we have to just refer people to that. And then hopefully we'll get that course going again in partnership with family partners eventually.
Yeah.
And once the pandemic is gone, we're going to have a second family support group that's available at Newton Medical Center. I could also mention that one of our partner organizations, Intensive Family Support Services, offers weekly family support groups for parents or other close family caregivers who have a loved one with mental illness. But their grant cannot serve people whose loved one is under 18. So that would only be of interest to those who have a loved one with a mental health condition who's 18 or over. But that's Intensive Family Support Services. And I think, Holly, are you going to be able to post that document I sent you?
I'm gonna send that out afterwards for everybody.
Yeah.
Yes, that's great. Thank you
So
so
that'll
much,
be
Jerry.
listed on there. And then our parent organization, Nami New Jersey, offers, they're very up to speed technologically, and they have all kinds of Zoom family support groups, and they also have Zoom support groups for the person 18 and up with a mental health condition. That's called NAMI Connection. We hope to someday have a live NAMI Connection group in Sussex County again. We used to have one years back, but we need to get new facilitators trained. But that again is just for 18 and up. So everything we do is free and done at the county level, done by volunteers.
That's great. Jerry, thank you so much. And I just have to say, NAMI is an organization that you can sign up to membership to receive a newsletter. They do conferences. I attended my first pre-pandemic. Do you remember the day, Jerry? We sat at a table in a really crowded room and heard, it's amazing because not only do they have speakers on topics, important topics, but many of their speakers are people who themselves are in a better place with their own mental health and are sharing what they've learned on their journeys. And I found it very inspirational because, it's a journey, right? There's no, point A to point B and you're done. It's more of a journey. So I can't say enough about the resources and benefits and the volunteers of NAMI. So Jerry, thank you for making time to be with us.
So that was NAMI New Jersey's conference, and then NAMI National has a big conference annually. So NAMI National is at NAMI.org. NAMI New Jersey is at NAMINJ.org. And NAMI Sussex has a big long web address, nami-sussex-nj.org.
That's awesome. I'll make sure I share those contacts. Thank you so much, Jerry.
Okay.
I'm sorry, did somebody have a question?
I want to say something about NAMI Basic. I want to share with the group that when I started my journey in this country, I took the course, and I think that helped me a lot as a parent to learn my reality and to have good tools to learn in my reality with my son experience. I just want to say that because I did it like 5 years ago, 6 years, no, I think 9 years ago, something like that. And I still remember the tools, and I think it's a really nice basic course for everybody to understand the mental health.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that, Margarita. And again, folks, the resources are out there, and the more we know, right, the more we're fueled and empowered to do what we need to do for our own health and for that of our loved ones. So a few other things that I just wanted to mention that we will be sharing with you after this meeting is there are a lot of support groups available through New Jersey Hope and Healing. Like, for instance, they have every Tuesday, there's a come unwind with us, like a yarning group. There's a Wednesday after school chat and craft program for 7 to 12-year-olds from 3:30 to 4:15. Thursdays, they have after school chat and craft for ages 13 to 18. And also, another really cool group that I'm going to share the website for, which is called the Rainbow Cafe, which is an organization that provides LGBTQ connections, youth partnerships, and events. And of course, they are virtual, as we all are right now, but they are still doing Zoom events. But there's a connection there for their website actually provides information on therapists and programs that they recommend to support that community in an affirming way. And there are supports for the youth and for the parents. So those are some other things that we plan to share with you. So we are getting real close to the end of the hour. Krista, did you want to say a word about your program, your art program?
Sure. So just real quick, we applied for a grant through Morris Arts. And we were selected as one of the winners. So we started a program called Straight from the Heart, which is a art journal program, that a 6 weeks program. So each participant got a box full of supplies, and then they also got a journal to work in. And then each week I am teaching a different art technique to help, cope with stress, anxiety, and just in general good journaling practices. So we've had a lot of fun so far. We're halfway through our first week. We've done some like Zentangling, we've done some watercoloring, we made our own scratch art, which was really fun. You used to buy scratch arts in the store. So
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, we're having a lot of fun with that. We're able to do 30 participants with this grant money, and we're already looking into, because we already have a waiting list for more. So we're expanding as we go.
That's really exciting. We're very proud of the work Chris has done on creating that program. And we're almost at the end of the hour. Does anybody have any questions or anything else that they would like to share before we part ways? I'm really, really grateful that we had this conversation today. I'm really grateful that I'm going to share this recording and all of the contacts for the resources that we shared today. And I hope that you pass it along. If you know of somebody who might benefit from understanding that, family support partners, first of all, we always say family partners, we don't have all the answers, but we have a lot of contacts. And we also have a lot of motivation to help you find the answer and to find the connection. So I sometimes like to start presentations with saying this, but maybe I'll end it with it like that. We're kind of in the business of having awkward conversations, right? Like it's really important that we remember that we are here to help people with things that they might be a little embarrassed to talk about or ashamed or a little lost or a little down and out. But the conversations are so very, very important to happen. So I want to thank everybody for your participation today, for your questions, and most of all for your interest in providing hope to families who deserve to have hope and support in today's difficulties. But you know what? Life is a challenge, right? But we're going to get through it together. So thank you for coming out. I hope you join us next week. We're going to be talking about resiliency and dealing with emotional stability in COVID. We have someone from Atlantic Health that's going to come and do, Jen Carpentieri is going to come and talk to us about things that she's learned and tips that she can provide. So please come and see us again and stay healthy. I'm Holly Dinnity signing out for Family Partners Lunch and Learn. Everybody stay healthy.